Yeah, you better mute all these animals.
Emo Brown Podcast. Emo Brown Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, and future culinary superstars around the globe, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Emo Brown, the podcast, brought to you by the beautiful people down below. And today, who are we going to give a shout out to? Mr. Barry Gisbera IV. Microwave Network. For all of your adaptogenic evening relaxation formula needs, tap in with the Microwave Network. Luna puts me to sleep and gives me the most vivid Player One dream action that I've ever wanted in my life. No joke. BJ, take a toke of that. You're going to put yourself on camera doing...
Take a little droppy drop.
These are adaptogenic. They are cognitive. They are not for hallucinogenic purposes, but we know a guy. Let that not take away from the guest we have here today. A man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anywho's. From the Valley of Imperials, from the Centro of L's, Aaron Lopez is here to grace us with his presence and let us know of all the beautiful things he's about. I just met this young man. Thank you, Lozano. Your track record is impeccable. You bring forth all of the goodness. Top tier talent is what I like to call you. You bring them all in. Is this mic on?
Just wait.
Turn
Just
it
wait
off.
till you hear his
Just
story.
make sure you turn
Just wait till you hear his story.
When the budget doesn't allow for a sixth camera, we take a photo of you. And then we
make
just
shit
pop
work.
you in there. Aaron Lopez, how the heck are you, sir?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Bro, it's our pleasure. Thank you for coming in. Do you live in San Diego?
Don't live in San Diego. I live
Okay.
in El Centro.
Nice.
I've been there for the past year. And yeah, come to San Diego every now and then. But
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about all things Aaron Lopez.
I'm originally from Imperial Valley. I grew up in Calexico on the border.
Willie
And-
Moreno.
Yep. And then I left in 2004. I went to go to Los Angeles, opened an art gallery out there, and eventually found myself in cooking.
How does that transition happen? How do you go from...
Can't pay the bills.
Okay.
Couldn't pay the bills making art, and asked my friend for a job in a restaurant as like a bar back cutting lemon wedges.
Doing
and
all the
stuff.
prep work, whatever it needed.
And just loved it, man. Like, I loved the energy. I loved how the late nights, and it was a
the
lot
Anthony Bourdain lifestyle.
yeah, it was just nuts, and I fit right in. So I just dove deeper.
That was your first experience in a kitchen?
Yeah, so I actually worked in the bar side first, and then I would, after work, I'd stay and drink with the chef and pick his brain about, just different produce and stuff like that, and fell in love with it. And I asked him if I could spend a week with him or a couple days a night in the kitchen, just sort of learning.
Okay, like an
And-
apprenticeship almost?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like, I can't pay you, but yeah, do it. And I did. Once a week, I'd hang out with him in the kitchen. I'd work the line, and eventually from there, I went to culinary school.
Culinary school.
Yeah,
That sounds pricey.
it was, and it really wasn't worth it. But
Really? Okay.
I think just in that moment, it was something that I needed to do for myself.
Checking
know?
a box just to make sure
Yeah.
you're about that life.
Yeah, totally. And then, just kind of fell in love with it. I went and worked for some of the best chefs I could in Los Angeles at that time.
That seems
And
like it's
just
the epicenter of a lot of places, a lot of killer chefs.
Especially in that time. Like,
Okay.
I think LA was really pushing the boundaries for a lot of progressive and modern dining. And just sort of coming from music and art, I was able to see sort of this new perspective of avant-garde cooking that really resonated with me.
Let's pretend I don't know what avant-garde is.
We were just doing stuff that was a little more like molecular at that time. It was less about keeping the integrity of a dish and more about how can we just invert these, products as far as we could and push them as far as we could. It was a lot of fun. It was like punk rock cooking.
I like that.
Yeah.
I have a friend. We have a friend of the show. He graciously refers to himself as the punk rock chef. I'll introduce him to you one day.
Right on.
Oh, there he is. Joshua Campbell, everybody. There he is. Way out of you, Josh. Hold your questions till the end of the show. Thank you. How long did you live this lifestyle before you ultimately implemented your own game plan?
Well, I think along the way, it was just, I came up in the industry of fine dining, so it was just keep your head down and work and learn, and that's it, It was just silence in the kitchen, and I think that intensity I was able to relate to from, the aggression I had as a kid and stuff like that, and so coming up in these very high-end kitchens. It was just learn and learn and learn.
Militant
and learn.
sounds like.
Big time.
What's up with this aggressive upbringing, bro?
Well, just like coming up in the punk scene and
Ooh,
skateboarding
right,
and just
okay.
that like, that energy. And then so applying that to, I mean, I feel like if you want to cook for a living, you're almost everyone is the same. Like they have that attitude that attracts you. And yeah, so I think for a long time it was just learning, keep your head down and learn and hone in your, sharpen your tools.
And then ultimately you went on back home.
Yeah, I mean, a lot happened before I went back home. I moved to Hawaii for a while. And I switched into pastry. I did pastry for 6 years, and I just wanted to continue to evolve and sharpen my skills. And I think being in Hawaii was when I grew up in the desert, right? And so living in Hawaii, it sort of had this reverse effect on me where I was living in paradise, and ultimately it's supposed to be amazing and stuff. And I realized that going on these hikes and being in this tropical climate didn't resonate with me. I didn't grow up with these greens and stuff like that. So once I left Hawaii I was sort of on this trying to figure out like where I'm from and what's my background and a time and a place,
Finding yourself.
Yeah, finding myself and I moved to Austin for a little bit, and Austin got me one step closer to the desert, and then that's when the light bulb went off.
Rumor has it you were a chef for Joe Rogan. No?
Nope.
Okay, no, wrong guy. My bad, wrong guy. I had to eat it, bro. It sounds like being what you ultimately became, an entrepreneur and running your own establishment, all of these experiences pretty much rolled in, created the person you currently are.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like being in Austin, I had a lot of time on my hands. We were waiting for a restaurant to be built, and so my wife and I would sort of do these road trips throughout Arizona and New Mexico. And through that, we got to meet seed savers and foragers and people from the Tohono tribe. And that's when I really started realizing, like, I'm from the desert. This needs a voice. Because where we're from, it's a huge Hispanic community. And a lot of the indigenous community got not pushed out, but almost forgotten a little bit, And so it was just sort of peeling back the curtains to what was there before the community stepped in.
And what is there now for you in El Centro, man?
Well, so so basically in a nutshell, it came down to like, I've been doing this 15 to 17 years at that time. I got to open my own restaurant. I can't just work for someone else forever. It was getting really hard to.
It seems like that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal. I mean, I can only parallel story home brewers into ultimately wanting to own their own shop.
Yeah.
It's like, am I going to keep home brewing? What am I going to do with this? Or am I going to open up my own shop and do my own thing? Sounds like it's the same thing.
Same thing. I mean, like it becomes really tedious when you have to execute somebody else's vision. It's like not as fun anymore. And so I started putting together this pitch deck and this, mood board and stuff, and just like, what does my thing look like? And I reached out to a couple friends, and actually a friend of ours, Ernie, had this building in El Centro, and I sent him my pitch deck, and I was like, hey, if you know any investors, let me know. And he called me the next day, and he's like, you know what? I don't know if I can help you with that, but I have this building, I have this restaurant. I don't really want it anymore, but I want to keep it in the family. Why don't you come take it over? I was like, I'm not moving back to that town. I've been gone 20 years, And then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Like, maybe this is a good stepping stone for me, or maybe this is just like, who am I to say no to this opportunity? Especially with no investor, It's like something I could sink my teeth into. And so my wife and I jumped on it.
It's an opportunity right there, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And there's something cool about kind of going back home. And, growing up, we always complained about there's nothing to do. So to be able to like provide something to do and advocate for that in cultural sense as well. So,
I mean, that's a full circle approach to living as well, man. I mean, we all want to go off and do our thing and procure all of these experiences and sharpen our skill sets and, bring a new set of tools back home. And it sounds like you did, man. You brought a whole new point of view, perspective on what you were going to do in El Centro.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like one of those things too. It's like, of all the places that we were going to take over, it's downtown Main Street, which in the 90s was sort of like the thriving place. And then the classic tale of the mall moved in and pushed everyone out. So we're trying to be on the forefront of sort of bringing that energy back to this abandoned part of town,
There's something awesome about injecting life into a desolate downtown area.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
Yeah.
and again, man, I always just try to put myself in that position because that's what we did over here. And when it all finally plays out, you feel like super accomplished. Like, oh wow, like we did this. We contributed to what is now a downtown avenue. You've had a restaurant now by the name of URSA for the last 10 months, I believe you said.
10 months, yeah.
How's it been going?
Ups and downs, you know, just like, you know, like I said, like it's just my wife and I. We have a fantastic team. Most of them have been with us from the beginning, and some have actually were on their hands and knees building it with us.
Hell yeah.
So it's really cool, loyal, and, you know, we come from a town, like there's a blue collar community, right? And so like to get people to trust us and go out and it's tough. It's really tough because no one makes better food than at home, you know? And so it's not really a let's go out and hang out tonight town. And so it's yeah, I mean, hoping that people meet us halfway. But yeah, we've had some really good nights. We've had some pretty sad nights, you know, and
welcome to entrepreneurship.
And that's just what it is.
Yeah,
and
bro.
like that's what we try to remind ourselves that at the end of the day, we're doing this for ourselves.
Yeah. Tell me a little about this project. How'd you come up with the name URSA? What's the deal? What's the business model there?
Yeah. So, you know, like I mentioned, my wife and I got to go on a couple of these walkabouts throughout the desert. And the way it went down was we wanted to just sort of like learn more about where we're from. And we're both from the desert. And so we bought this, we did it super low tech. We bought like a foraging guide, Southwest Desert, bought a point and shoot camera, and we just loaded up our dogs and we just started driving through the desert. And we'd jump out, we'd snap some photos of plants, and we'd, you know, skim through this book and start cataloging everything. And we'd take plants and we'd dry them out and we'd like glue them, like create a little mood board and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And we just kept thinking about like, you know, how far we could push these products. I think the desert is one of the regions that got overlooked. Like we equate green to life. And so since the desert doesn't have much of it, no one's really doing any progressive tasting menus or dining out there, right? And so we just kept kind of capitalizing on that. Like what happens if we take these pre-colonial ingredients, which we're very unfamiliar with, and really just, you know, push it through fermentation, through preservation and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, like monsoon crops, pre-colonial crops, things like just what we consider weeds and shrubs now were once like high in nutrients at one point for, you know, the Tohono tribe, for the Kumayan tribe and stuff like that. So, yeah, it just continued on this walkabout, camping and stuff. And my wife and I, like, we're really into outer space. And one night we were out camping on this trip, and we shot our telescope in the sky. And it came down to, like, what are we going to name it, right?
Yeah,
we're sort of
sure.
in this fantasy land. What are we going to name this project? And we shot our telescope, and the first constellation we saw was URSA. And it was just like, that's it, man.
That's dope.
Yeah. It was special.
Walk us through the menu. What can one expect going to URSA and paying you guys a visit?
So we're 10 months in. We're on our 4th menu.
Okay.
We never repeat a dish. We try to be as hyper seasonal as possible. So we change our menu about 6 to 8 weeks. Like I said, we do work with like 4 to 6 foragers throughout the Southwest region at a time. So we never call a company to get something shipped to us. We don't unload things from boxes. It's real like whatever is available.
That's intense.
It's intense. It's super intense because there are times like.
What if you don't find what you're looking for?
That's why we do a lot
Reading
of
rocks.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's why we do a lot of preservation.
Okay.
We make sure that as soon as we get stuff, we ferment it, we age it. So if something doesn't, I mean, not only do you have to hope that something is available,
bro.
but someone has to get off their ass and go and pick it. You know what I mean? And then ship it to us, or we go out to the mountains and get
handle it.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just sort of like pivoting all the time. So like our menu's super vague so that we could interchange things whenever they're available. Another thing that we did was on our opening menu, we had a couple like beef items, and then we decided about 4 weeks in, like, let's just go pre-colonial everything. And now we just do game.
Really?
Yeah, boar, venison, antelope, stuff like that. So we're trying to take it back to as Americana as possible.
Being from El Centro and going back home, what has the reception been like bringing a new a business to the community?
I mean, it's kind of wild, man, because like, you know, I left in 2004 and I didn't stay in contact with anybody, like nobody. I had this one friend that would like find me every 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, how'd you find me?
You owe me money, fool. What the fuck?
Yeah. And so I didn't really stay in contact with anybody. And so now coming back home 20 years later, it's been really cool catching up with people.
That's
and it's
awesome.
like nothing's changed.
That is awesome.
And my family kind of runs deep throughout the town too. So a lot of people are like, oh, I know your grandfather, like this and that. And so hearing cool stories like that has been really invigorating. And then with the town, I mean, I want to think from my perspective, they're proud of it. Like, I mean, that's the goal is I want people to be like, we have
for
URSA,
sure.
like that's ours, you know?
Yeah. They hang their hat on your accomplishments.
I'm
'Cause,
hoping
like, you're a
so.
hometown kid.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a hometown success story. So everyone's like, he's from here. He's from here.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Where can people find information on URSA? Where can we look into this?
So we have our Instagram. It's Ursa_desert. There it is right there.
BJ, you've outdone yourself yet again. Out of you, brother.
It's amazing what getting here an hour before everybody else will do.
Yeah, we got all of our information there. And then
I like the style of this Instagram. You have a very like artistic eye with it.
Thank
right?
you.
Who's in charge of this?
I am.
Yeah, it looks great.
I do it all. And then my wife does a lot of the admin, and she basically just keeps the place running.
You clearly put a lot of thought into the color palette. You were like earlier telling us that green is not very like a
and that's
like
the thing too, man. Is like we really wanted to stick the landing. Like, I mean, we do know that there are like green things in the desert, but what we'll do is we'll burn them, we'll dry them out, we'll discolor them just so that the image comes across like this is how the desert is. You know, we really want it to resonate with like a time and a place.
Tapping into your artistic background, bro. That cannot hurt. That's definitely gonna separate you. But I'm gonna assume that you are very unique in this business model in El Centro. I don't think that anybody else would be.
It's ambitious.
Yeah,
It's ambitious for
that's
sure.
where the
I mean,
rewards are, brother.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we're starting to get like our repeat guests and our loyal people, and it's really special. It means a lot. I mean, again, like my wife and I just did it with almost no money. You know, like we don't come from money. We didn't do it with investors. It's just we were just tired of fantasizing about it, and we're like, let's just do it. You know, see what happens. So
What have you learned in the 10 months, you and your wife?
communication. You know, I think the biggest thing right now is like trusting your staff to do it, that they can do just as good job as you, not trying to like do everything yourself.
That can't be easy.
Yeah.
Especially when it's your own passion.
When it's
project.
your baby. Yeah. I mean, just trusting your staff and, you know, ensuring that they have the same sweat equity as you do. If you win, they win. And they want to win, you know, and that's what I've learned is like they want to win too. So that's been really cool to just sort of like lower my pride a little bit and take a back seat with my staff and watch them grow.
Shit, there's nothing more like humbling than putting it all on the line and opening your own business, bro.
Yeah.
Because you get instant feedback as soon as you open that door. Or as soon as the first month is done of operation, first quarter, first year. And then you're like, oh, shit, okay. Now it's time to assess everything. Where are we? Where did we start? Where are we now?
Yeah, people love to give me advice. Like that's like, you know, like that's been a funny. We want to make a coffee table book of just like DMs of advice I should do. And
Hey, you know what? You know what you should do?
Yeah,
And I'm
here's
like,
what you should
What
do.
should I do?
Yeah.
Lozano, what should I do? You tell me. And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, I think one of the craziest things that you're trying to accomplish out there, and quite honestly, you are accomplishing it. And it's always like with the fucking pictures.
Joining us from outer space via satellite.
Is that you're bringing I was thinking about this and I was tripping out that you left everything to answer the call of the desert, and then within the desert you found another desert, like like that downtown area is a desert inside of it, and so kind of like you're doubling down with bringing some sort of artistic culinary experience to a place that doesn't have it. A lot of people go around saying that it's not ready for it. I've heard that. I've heard people go, "Oh, well, you know, the Valley doesn't really want that, and that's not. They might not be ready." And I think that's
Who speaks for the Valley, Lozano? Who's out there speaking for?
Bro, go to Walmart. Go to Walmart and just listen.
Yeah.
And you go and you hear these things and you go like, I don't know. I don't think that that's the case. And I don't know about your experiences. And when you and your wife and your team are talking about Ursa, I don't know what that conversation sounds like, but I don't subscribe to that. I think people are ready. I just don't know how you highlight it, and I don't know what the next step is, but I wouldn't say that they're not ready.
I would say that it doesn't matter.
That's
like,
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not going to change my ethos because someone's ready or not. Like, you know, and I think that this is where a lot of restaurants can't make or break is we do things, we have a narrative and we follow a North Star, and it's not for guests. I think that guests need to meet us halfway. And, you know, we're not trying to throw our middle fingers in the air all the time, but we do what we need to do and create a place that people can just let their guard down. And if we listen to everything, then we just, we'd be 30 years back, you know? And so, you know, I mean, it doesn't really pencil out too when a lot of people from our town drive to San Diego to go have a similar experience, but then say something down the street, we're not ready for that. So it's like, so you're going to drive 2 hours?
I mean, it's crazy because people don't know what they want, and it's your job as an entrepreneur to show them this is what we have.
Yeah, and like, I mean, you're always going to hear the same thing, like we're not ready, but then you're met with so much kindness and loyalty and
That's
gratitude
awesome,
too. So like, I mean, it's case by case for sure. You know, like we've gotten a lot of support from the city.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, from community, family, friends. Like,
It's in the best interest of the city and city government to get a small business owner's back in a situation like this, because you are from that town.
someone has to do it.
You are investing money into this community. You are offering job opportunities for people from the community. Like, it would be in their best interest to fully embrace what you and your wife are doing at URSA and say, hey, this is the pride of El Centro right now. These are the types of people that we want to highlight and help, guide into the next year of their enterprise, like the future. Because from you, there's going to be other businesses that are going to spring about. Be like, oh, you know what? I like the way the Lopez family did this. Mm-hmm. We should kind of do something like that on that level, but in our style. And, and I feel like that's kind of what injects vitality. Is that a word I can use?
I think so.
Yeah, vitality into the community, and oh shit. All of a sudden, 1 turns to 2, 2 turns to 3, and now it's going to be known as a nice culinary destination.
Yeah,
you do not want to be the only spot in the desert where people are going to go. You want to kind of be the conduit that brings on more. Yeah,
it's always tough being the first one.
Oh, bro.
You're on display, but yeah, there are other people popping up right now in the valley that just I think are also doing some really fascinating things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And
it's got to make you feel real good.
It does, big time for sure. And we all support each other. There's definitely a community, and we sort of just plugged right into that. And 10 months in, I'd say it's successful.
What do we got going on for the year anniversary?
We were just talking about that yesterday. We're just gonna open the doors and serve some people. I don't think we're gonna throw a party or anything. We're just gonna let people know it's been a year, and thank you for all the support, man. And stuff. Yeah, July 26th will be a year.
That's milestone shit, though.
Yeah.
It's like, 'cause there's nothing like that in the desert where you guys are from. I know. I've been there many times, bro. There's a Walmart. There's, as you mentioned, a Jack in the Box on every other corner. 8 of them out of you. Yeah. There's the donut store, bro.
Donut shops,
big up to the
reign supreme out there.
Tortas and donut shops.
Great food right there, Donut Avenue, by the way.
Donut
You got some
bro.
competition over there.
Big time.
That menudo's hot.
We support them.
Cold menudo, on the other hand, is not.
But dude, another thing that you are just adamant about. God damn that fucking photo! But
I didn't tell you to take that picture. Okay?
I know. I posed for it too. It wasn't even like an action shot in the middle. I was like, I posed for it. I made that pose. You're big on trying to convey the message of the importance of supporting local, right?
Yeah, it's been a big one for us lately.
The whole town is local with these big surrounded by big behemoths. You know what I mean? And so your message and, maybe aggression is not the right word, but maybe it is. Maybe conceptually it is. It's an aggressive call for local support.
It's a call for action. From an outside perspective, like I said, I've been gone 20 years. And so coming back, you see things different. And what I see is a ton of chain restaurants, like a ton of fast food, something I never really noticed. And to be honest, I'm not really against fast food at all. But when you're driving down our main street and you just see sign after sign after sign after sign. It's like, oh my God, like where are we eating? Like where are we going? You know, and so you as a small business owner, you obviously sort of buddy up with these other small businesses, and they all have the same thing. Like the chains are pushing us out.
I mean, the best thing that you could have done, honestly, is leave. And go gain this experience and come back with a fresh set of eyes. And you saw opportunity. You saw where there's voids. He's like, well, we don't have this here in our community. Let's do this. And you know what else would go good? This. And then people are starting to do it. And like you said, there's strength in numbers. Small businesses, the business owners like link up, support, and kind of have each other's back.
Yeah.
Now you have a movement, bro.
Yeah, and I think like in order to do this, you have to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If I had stayed, I just don't think I'd care enough, you know. And so to come, like you had mentioned, and to leave and just sort of see like another way, like there's other ways to do this, and then come back and applying those ethos has been really pivotal for URSA and for hopefully for all small businesses down there. But yeah, I mean, like Jeff said, like we're really advocating for like support local and small business and stuff.
And you know what? And Jeff's, I'm gonna give you your flowers, dude.
Whoa, dude, you're recording? Oh, Jesus.
Jeff, you're a stand-up guy, even when you're sitting. You do tend to show support like in a big way, because you've been telling me, dude, I have a homie. He opened a restaurant. I need to get him on the podcast. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. And you're constantly putting your people on game and letting them know, hey, this is how we do it. Let me help you. Let me get you in these avenues. Let me get you here. So that's why I really like you in that sense. Bro.
Well,
you're always
the feeling is mutual, bro. And because you have the platform now, and it's for me, I think it's one of the cool things about the network effect. Because you know, it's not a world of if you build it, they will come anymore, man. It's like you need to find a story or a philosophy that resonates with the people. And I don't know about you guys, but I found that the easiest way to do it is through kind of these long form conversations that allow you to really convey your message. It's not a sound bite, even though this gets cut into sound bites, right? It's really this long thought, and you're articulating all the blood, sweat, and tears is being put into this thing. And at the end of the day, what people really want to support are other good people trying to do good things.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, you have to be super methodical with every movement in this, especially in a small town. Like, it's not forgiving, you know? And so, I mean, this is what we always tell our staff is, like, in order to dine at a place like URSA, you have to get a babysitter or save your money or plan it. Like, it's not just let's stumble into it. And so, like, it takes a lot for somebody to come in there, and we want to treat them like it should be memorable for them, you know? I mean, whether it's a burger joint or fine dining,
whatever
like,
it is,
like, you know, I didn't grow up with money. And so to be able to go out and enjoy something that somebody else cooked and be waited on,
it's an experience, bro.
Yeah.
It's a fucking experience that you're never going to forget. Yeah. You know? And what I think is awesome listening to you is that you guys are steadfast about sticking to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Staying
we
your
don't
course.
Pivot. Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
I know too many people that just kind of like get bombarded with all of these requests and do this, do that, do that. And eventually I feel like they just kind of get peppered and broken down, like, all right, maybe we should do this.
And it's always sad when that happens.
And that's,
you know,
I was
like,
going to say,
it's always really sad when that happens. And yeah, I mean, even when my staff comes up with ideas, it's like, you have to stop and think, like, does this fit URSA?
Yeah.
You know, and that's very important. Like, and I mean,
don't lose the purpose.
You
can't lose the purpose, man, because then it's going to be a tricky hill to get right back up to where you already were.
And I feel too, like, a lot of, you know, businesses or restaurants, sometimes we used to call them chameleon restaurants. If they try to do everything, it sort of just gets convoluted, you know? And so we always wanted to be like, you don't have to go to URSA, but if this is what you're looking for, we will provide that, you know?
It's that jack of all trades, master of none mentality. I'd rather just hone in on one thing and be fucking top
dope
tier at that one thing.
Yeah.
Because then when other people are looking for that one thing, it's like, oh, URSA. Fuck, that's what you want? Let's go.
Yeah.
Good on you, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm excited to see what happens. We got to go. Take me.
Let's go, dude. Let's
calm down.
All right, sorry, I got really excited.
You got a little excited.
That picture, I'm looking at myself like that.
Let's excited.
Oh my God! Don't let the picture deceive you. I am amped. I think that one of the other things that I was initially thinking when you were coming up with the concept? Because when we talked about it before you had even moved, honestly, we
I
were
was living in
talking.
Austin, we were talking.
And I was so pumped and subtly nervous at the same time because I really don't know the inner workings of a restaurant. I don't know what it takes. I don't know anything about the business, but from an outside perspective, which is really valuable because you're there for the consumer ultimately, right? And I'm a consumer as far as URSA is concerned. I was nervous because I was like, dude, this concept and this idea is so fucking insane that like I need it. I vicariously need it to work for the city.
Yeah.
Because in these small towns, bro,
Yep.
what ultimately people really want from the small town is to exit the small town and be able to talk about their small town. And they want some cool shit to be able to bring up. You know, like as great as it is to have these small little mom and pop shops doing great things, they're silent. They don't really get out there. The message doesn't really get out there. And there's like a generation of foodies and you know, diners and stuff that want to experience this, I guess, world, and they tend to exit because it's not in the valley. Most of it is over here in San Diego or in LA and stuff. And when they do come to these spots and they are around the dinner table and they're exchanging stories, they want to talk about where they're from and they want to mention the cool shit that people should come visit and try. And we haven't had a lot of that. We haven't had a lot of excuses to pop into Calexico or El Centro and be like, dude, you need to come and try this out.
Yeah. You know, I think too is a lot of the same problems and success that we have in a small town is the same that you would experience in a large town.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And so like when people say like we're not ready for this or like they should try this, the same thing happens in a larger town. It just gets diluted with more of it,
Right,
good or
right,
bad.
right.
And so the probability of success is kind of the same. You're dealing with ratios at that point, you know, and so
Ratios, Jeff, not racial. I know how you
That
are.
I was like, that makes no
I
sense.
know how you
Man.
are.
Oh, I get it now. I get it now.
There you go.
yeah, I mean, like, we take on what we can handle, and you know, like, someone was bringing up Michelin the other day, and that's like a topic in itself, right? And it just gets you thinking, like, well, what happens if we did bring a star to this small town? Like, I mean,
Isn't that nuts?
technically, it's possible, right? Like, just based on definition, like, it is possible, and we could make history. I don't hang my hat on that. Like, I'm not really doing it for that, but
Just another benchmark.
it would be incredible to say like this town, and I don't even know if I mean, it's not really something that I would claim. It's like, we did this, we can do this, you know? So
I love that because the we part is important because you know that what you've built, the only foundation, the strongest foundation that your restaurant sits on is that community.
yeah.
And if they don't show up, then you, no matter how good it is, no matter what delusions of grandeur that anybody had, it will not succeed without that local support. And that support is only driven by belief.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's wild knowing that.
You okay, bro? You almost blacked out there.
I was like, what the hell did I just say?
It doesn't matter how hard you work. It's like someone still needs to go in
Yeah,
and eat.
dude. Yeah, it's freaking true. Oh. Being a small business owner is scary as shit, bro. Scary as shit. And for me, just looking at the way the operation of a restaurant and the inner workings and how the framework and how it's set up, that's kudos to you and
Yeah,
your
thank
wife,
you.
bro. That's
No,
a
thank
tip
you
of the
so
cap
much.
because
Yeah.
that's a lot of work, bro.
Yeah, my wife doesn't come from a restaurant background. She's just sort of learning on the job, you know.
What better way? I
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
feel
for
like
sure.
it's better if you don't know. You know, it's one of those things like you don't want to unlearn bad habits. You just want to go in fresh and be like, well, this works for URSA.
Sure.
This is the setup that works here.
Yeah.
May not work at some of these other places, but here it works, and we got to ride with this.
Yeah.
Especially when you're carving your own path. Like you're opening like a steakhouse. There's nobody to be like, hey, this is how you do
Sure.
URSA.
Yeah.
Like only you know how to do that.
Dude,
shit.
that's crazy because that mentality
good
of
point.
we're not ready for that here. We had that here in Chula Vista on 3rd Avenue. We don't have a steakhouse in Chula Vista.
Black Angus.
No kidding.
don't?
We don't, bro. So there was a steakhouse that opened on 3rd Avenue on where is La Nacional now. I forget the name, bro. But it was by Steve Brown, the local Wagyu guy. And everybody just said, oh, we're not ready for this. And there was tomahawks for over $100. And like, oh, we're not ready for this. We're not ready for this. And stellar menu. And then it was like, oh, we're not ready for this. We were. I just don't think people knew exactly what was being offered to them. And I feel like that's a conversation that needs to be had maybe by the people running the brand and say, well, this is what we do. This is how we do it. This is why we do it. This is how we procure all of our goods. This is, I feel like telling that story, the importance of knowing the story behind the brand. Dude, right now more than ever, people are about that life. People want to know, where's this brewery from? Are they from Chula Vista? Like, who's involved with that? Oh, they're not from here. Oh, I'd rather find somebody local. Like, I feel right now, since the pandemic hit, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, everyone became a little bit more ethno-community, bro.
Yeah.
Like, ethno, like, this is my bar. This is my local, like, pub. This is my local burger joint. This is my local coffee shop. And people become very possessive, proud even.
Yeah.
And if you provide them that stellar experience, whether it be a dish that people really gravitate to or the service is world class, you got them for life, bro.
Yeah, and like providing the, like how you had mentioned, like I think adding dialogue to it and giving a reference point is really knocks it out of the park. It's like if we just opened a regular good restaurant in the Valley, I mean, I don't know how it would do. Maybe it would do better, but like I think like when we attach the dialogue to it of like this is actually about our community. It's more our community than our history. Like it was here long before our history showed up. It was long before community showed up. These are like pre everything. These are like the weeds and shrubs that we gift to people and the succulents that we decorate our houses with. We're going to use this and push it as far as it can go. And I always say this to people. It's like somebody had to have the balls to make chocolate delicious. It's not really by definition a delicious product. So we want to use this same formula and push these products that are native to our desert. And I think when we attach that story, people are like, oh yeah, like I know what nopales are. I know what barrel fruit is, and the light bulb goes off, So
It turns into like a romantic story, bro.
Yeah.
yeah.
Where people are like, oh, it becomes personal to them.
Yeah,
It's
it
like, I don't
becomes
want this
personal.
place to fail.
Yeah.
I don't want this place to do anything. I want to be involved. You like the Willy Wonka of fucking foraging, dog.
Yeah, man, I'm just like learning so much right now. Like, like I've been cooking for 17 years and then recently like just started meeting these foragers and like if you set off to do something, you find out there's more people like you. I'm not the first person to like fall in love with the desert. Like I'm meeting just all these incredible people, botanists and professors and like all these different people that just have the same mission.
Like you're just walking around and they're just like picking at something. And you're like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here, dude?
Yeah. I mean, it's really special to know. I mean, like talk about a community, especially being from the desert. I mean, it's very easy to hate on the desert. It's super easy.
Who's hating on the fucking desert, bro?
I don't know who's hating on the desert.
Sheesh.
I'm not hating on the desert.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Some
Like
motherfuckers who love the desert
it's
so
hot.
much.
It's
You
hot.
guys sure do leave the desert a lot.
It's pretty fucking hot, but
There's a lot of people from Imperial Valley in San Diego, bro. You guys love it so much. Why are you guys all here?
well, it's gorgeous. Fucking San Diego's awesome, and it's
reason.
when you're out there and you're like picking at all these shrubs and stuff, do you kind of know what you're looking for? And when you do find something, do you have to fucking like test it? Like, what do you do? How do you find out that it's not gonna kill us?
instant diarrhea sometimes.
Yeah,
For real? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean,
That's
you
how our
just-
ancestors did it.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, like it's again, like it's talking to professors and botanists a lot now. Like now that we're a year in, it's sending photos of like, hey, can I eat this? Yes, but only when you cook it to this temperature.
Oh, shit.
And so we
nice.
do a lot of R&D work where we take the ingredients and we're just like fermenting it.
Give it to the new guy.
Fermenting it. Yeah.
Yeah, give it to the new dude, bro.
Yeah, try this.
Bro, I saw crazy colors after I had that one.
Just have a guy on staff that's like simply a stomach for that.
Yeah,
Gotta
that's
put
an
this one aside
amazing.
for later,
Yeah, I mean,
dude.
there's a lot of failure for sure. There's a lot of failure, but like we turn to like a lot of misos and vinegars and soy sauces. So we use other ways of preservation and we look at it as a formula and we plug in native ingredients. So like miso, you use soybeans, but we have what's called tepary bean is like the only native bean here. So we're like, well, let's just change that out and see what happens. And so,
Voila.
so we're not starting from scratch. to-
Pinchy Willy Wonka, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
This was an alchemist over here in the
Man,
desert.
this chocolate needs a little kick. Let me put a boot in there, you know? Like,
Went from miso to wiso.
congratulations, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I
If there's
appreciate
anything
that.
we can do here as a collective with Emo Brown, please let us
That means a
know.
lot. Thank you.
How can people go and dine at your fine establishment? Is it a reservation base only or walk-ins welcome?
Both reservations recommended, just so that we sort of keep track on, again, like going back to, we only know what's available. So if we have reservations, then we know what to prep for
Hell yeah.
and things like that. But yes, walk-ins 100% available. We're Thursday through Sunday, 4 days a week. Dinner only, 5 to 10.
I like it, bro. I think we're going to have to go out there.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah,
Come
and
pay
it's
me a
fun.
visit
It's
out
not
there.
stuffy. Like we play good music, and like we make sure that our servers are like super tuned in. But we do not want it to be like this uber fine dining stuffy environment. When it gets busy in there, we crank the music. We
What's
have a good
up,
time, and we have
dog?
like
Yeah.
fantastic.
What you've
wine
done with that
programs
space
and-
is gorgeous, man.
Yeah, we
Like-
gutted that spot.
Yeah, it was cool already. Don't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
me wrong, but it has a complete different
Yeah.
look. You get transported into this weird. I don't even know what the style is. I want to know, but it has a style. Like if you look on your Instagram, like BJ was saying, it has a very nice kind of flow aesthetically, and your dining room is cool. It's
Dude,
like
we
you-
did all that ourselves.
Yeah,
like, we
that's
did all
awesome,
that
bro.
ourselves. Like that tumbleweeds from my mom's backyard. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, shit.
yeah, dude, we did all of this ourselves.
That's not West Elm. Jeez, I was like, gee,
Yeah.
that
I
thought
like
was-
that color palette on the background of the walls, bro.
Yeah,
Just to
thank you.
texturize the way it looks so good.
Yeah.
Man,
Dude, growing up with this guy, because we were high school friends.
all the
and
drugs. Go ahead.
all of them.
They were doing some forging of their own back in the day.
I will say this. I will say this,
Cocaine,
dude.
bro.
I say it all the time, dude. And even Danny, like I say this all the time.
Even
It's
Danny.
one of those things where it's a desert, and just like Aaron's like finding like these super vibrant little pops of life. I feel like that's the desert community too. Everybody that's a lot of people that have come out of that living situation, we'll say, in that little culture that is a small town culture, but it's a border town culture too. It's like a hodgepodge of all these things. We've been able to really, I don't know if it's because we have to sit around and think a lot. Like there's nothing to do. And so like,
Not
shit,
you,
man,
fool.
like I think we got to get creative, or
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Dude, I always say that like so many creative people came from that town because there's nothing to do. Like it's so fucking hot and boring. And I mean, this is obviously pre-cell phone, so it's like great musicians. Like just people got weird out there, And so
A lot of experimentation.
yeah, you can say that.
yeah.
And I don't know, man. I'm just proud of them. I'm proud of everybody that's come out of that.
You're a very proud boy.
Well, I'm a proud boy.
Oh,
don't
clip
look
that.
that up.
Clip that.
Don't
that.
don't hashtag. Don't hashtag.
Lozano does not represent
I haven't
anything
said
Emo
it with
Brown.
the accent that you're not supposed
I'm
to
a
say
proud
that.
boy. Look at you,
I'm
bro.
a proud boy. I'm a
Unreal.
proud boy. No, dude, I'm proud of this dude. Like, man, not only is he a friend, but honestly, like, I'm just proud of everybody that is using the valley as either a storyline, as either an epicenter for their creativity, or in his case, as a comeback story, man, as a return to home, and trying to do something to that town that it hasn't seen. That town is beautiful. It's always been beautiful. If you look for it, you'll find gems of whether it's people or food. But what you're doing is different, and I think that's ultimately what that place needs. It just needs a versatility and to get people excited, because your thing's gonna work, and then somebody else is gonna know or now feel like their crazy concept can work, and
Yeah.
it's gonna hopefully create a vibrant downtown
Yeah,
again.
you guys are a beacon of
Yeah,
like,
thank you.
oh shit. It
Yeah.
can be done. It can
Yeah.
totally be done out here. It's
Yeah.
good for you, man. We look forward to going out there for the year anniversary. Make it happen,
Yeah.
dude. Set up
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Wear
reservation.
something nice.
Pick us up.
Wear some socks, you fucking degenerate. What do you have against-
Wear some bottoms, full.
I'm wearing
those
huaraches,
shorts,
bro.
dude.
I'm
You're barely wearing
huaraches,
those.
bro. I
Wear
do
some
wear them
shorts.
well. I wear them well. This not take away from Aaron's time, please.
No, man, I'm
Aaron
busy.
Lopez, pleasure,
for
bro.
having me.
Real
Yeah,
shit,
thank
dog.
you so
Whatever
much.
you need from us, however we can
That means
help
a
in
lot.
any
Thank
way.
you.
We got a lot of friends and family out in the fucking valley, and we'd love to go out there and
Thank you
support
very
any
much.
which way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the
This
show.
is always your home.
Yeah.